Gaudapada Acharya is teaching through all his karikas one and only important lesson, which is called Ajativadaha. That is, there is no creation at all. If there is no creation at all, then what is there is only Brahma. There is only the reality. What is the Brahman? The reality? Reality which is neither the cause nor the effect, which is distinct from the cause and the effect. Karya, you can say Karana Vilakshanam Brahma. Vilakshana, I want you to remember this word. Vilakshanam, Vilakshanaha means distinct. The reality is neither the cause nor the effect. It is distinct from the cause and the effect. Brahman, which is distinct from the cause and the effect, alone was there, is there, will ever be. Karya Karana Vilakshanam Brahmaivasit. Karya Karana Vilakshanam Brahmaivasti. Karya Karana Vilakshanam Brahmaiva Bhavishyati. Was there, is here, will ever be. This is the teaching. This has already taught us in the 3 prakranams. Now in the fourth prakranam called Alata Shanti Prakranam, he wants us to assimilate this fact. That Aham Brahma Asmi. With the Brahman which was there, which is not here, which alone will be, I am the Brahman. There is no second thing, second reality other than Brahma. To assimilate this fact, to ascertain this fact, to confirm this, what we have understood earlier, he helps us to see the defects, the fallacies in the other systems of philosophy, which all hold on to the thinking that there is creation which is very much real. Therefore, for them, the duality is real. And of those 10 systems of philosophy, we saw 4 of them are Astika Darshanani, 6 of them are Nastika Darshanani, and of the Astika Darshanani, he takes only Sankhya philosopher mainly, by refuting Sankhya system of philosophy propounded by Kapila Muni. He refutes all other systems of Astika Darshanani. Other Astika Darshanani become refuted if Sankhya philosopher is refuted. here we have to remember the Asatkaryavadaha has been negated indirectly. Asatkaryavadaha means the universe has come into existence, originated out of nothing. And this view is of the Naiyayikaha, the Nyaya philosopher, who is not directly refuted, but who is refuted indirectly. And who refutes him? The Sankhya philosopher, who is a Satkaryavada, whose philosophy is Satkaryavadaha. So Asatkaryavadaha is one theory of creation of Nyaya philosopher, is negated by Sankhya philosopher, the Satkaryavadi. Satkaryavadaha is Sankhya philosopher's view. From a non-existent thing, how can something existent originate? He asks and he refutes. Therefore, Shankar, here Gaudapada Acharya does not directly refute the Nyaya philosopher. By presenting the Sankhya philosopher's view itself, indirectly he presents the refutation of Nyaya philosopher. And Sankhya philosopher happens to be the most powerful of all the four Astika Darshanikaha. And Sankhya, he refutes only Sankhya philosopher. Refuting him is as good as refuting all the Astika philosophers. And we saw in the last class, I am not going to repeat how he refuted Sankhya philosopher. That I am not going to into the details. Again, it becomes the old class. After that, after the 13th Karika, from the 14th Karika onwards, until the 23rd Karika, there is negation of a group of philosophers and whose theories are based on one common theory of karma, otherwise called law of karma. Their vadaha is karma karya vadaha. Like, so Brahma karya vadaha. This universe has originated from Brahman. Brahman is the Karanam. Universe is Karyam. That vada also is negated. Asatkarya vadaha has been refuted. Satkarya vadaha also is directly refuted. Then, now karma karya vadaha of Dvaita philosophers, who also accept Veda as the Pramanam. They are also Astika darshan. They also come under Astika philosophers only. So their view also is negated here. And we saw in the last class. Here the word karma implies punyam and papam. One has earned as a result of one's actions, previous actions. And this punyam and papam, earned as a result of one's past karma alone, becomes the cause for the new shariram. Therefore, and this karma is the cause of the assumption of a new body. Karma means punya papam become the cause of the assumption of the new body. But then there is a birth of a new body. Therefore, the creation is, what is the cause of the creation? The karma is the cause of the creation. Therefore, their vadaha is said to be what now? Karma karya vadaha. Karyam means the creation here. What is the cause of the creation? Karma. If you say, it's called karma karya vadaha. If you say there is a cause, something was there before the creation, if you say satkarya vadaha. Nothing was there before the creation, if you say asatkarya vadaha. Brahman is the cause of the creation, if you say brahma karya vadaha. So now we have karma karya vadaha, which is been refuted in all these verses, karikas. And for which I told you the method of refuting the karma karya vadaha is called vikalpa method. Why? Because the Acharya himself presents different options and refutes each, makes us see the fallacy, defect in each option. No? The way he refutes, negates one by one, and finally he refutes the very theory of karma. And he proves how karma cannot be the cause of the creation. Karma cannot be the cause of the body, and he uses two technical different words here, hetuhu and phalam. Hetuhu means cause and phala means effect. So karma cannot be the cause for the karma being the cause of the body cannot be established, because body being the cause of the karma cannot be established. Both karma and body cannot be simultaneously also the cause and effect, and they cannot be mutually also cause and effect, and nor can the pravaha, the flow, continuous flow of karma and body, the chain also cannot be the beginningless cause of the creation. Then he showed all the possible options, and he showed us the defects, and he refuted the very theory of karma. Even if we accept this karma shariram link as the beginningless cause, then it will become endless also. Then moksha will be impossible, and then we'll end up in facing the situation of moksha being impossible. And even if we say this karma shariram chain will come to an end, then end of this chain is going to be the beginning of moksha. Then that moksha which begins also will have an end. Then the moksha will be a temporary moksha. Again, it does not serve the purpose. This is how Gaudapada Acharya carefully points out how karma being the beginningless cause of the creation cannot be established. And here the big question might arise. From the beginning, the Vedanta Shastram itself talks about karma, and we also studied the Stotram, Dakshinamurti Stotram, Maya Kalpita Desha Kala Kalana Vaichitrya Chitri Kritam. We talk what is understood now, isn't it? There is creation, and the creation, How are we going to, otherwise we will all go mad. Why there is partiality in the creation? The different bodies are there. All the bodies are not the same. There is no uniformity in the creation. The different we have to answer is a temporarily. Shastram has to give us some reason why I am suffering, he is not suffering. Why other people are enjoying, why some are enjoying, some are suffering. Why some look very healthy, why some are unhealthy. Why some become celebrities because their looks and then accomplishments. Why some not even known in their own places. Then the difference in bodies, we say what now? Why different bodies just crawling, flying, walking, etc. Why not all the bodies the same? If we say, then we give this answer. The body, all these are determined by one's own punyam and papam. One's own punyam and papam alone determines the type of body we assume. And even the body parentage also is determined by our punya papam. It's all said in the Vedanta itself. What about all these things? And here Gaudapada Acharya says, yes, until we become mature, until we can die, we become prepared, until we become qualified with the fourfold qualifications. Nitya nitya vastu vivekaha, vairagyam, vivekaha, vairagyam, shamadhishatka sampattihi, mukshutvam. Until we get all these fourfold qualifications, and Upanishad, Vedanta Shastram, also Veda Shastram teaches us this law of karma and helps us understand, helps us accept our situations in life. Once we become qualified for this knowledge, once you become mature, then slowly Upanishad wants to tell us much subtler facts. Isn't it? Actually speaking, relatively law of karma is real, but if you really probe into this karma theory, we'll find a lot of logical fallacies. Law of theory, the law of karma is not defect free. We'll explore, we'll end up, as long as we don't explore, we are safe. Solve my karma, we can say, and keep quiet. If we explore, we'll come across a lot of defects. Really speaking, you can never establish what comes first. You can never say body came first. You cannot establish. Nor can you establish karma came first. Which is the cause, which is the effect. Which comes first, which comes later. If I can never establish. When we are not able to establish what the cause is, what came first, you cannot talk about the effect at all. Therefore, the theory of causation itself is expression of ignorance. Any discussion on cause and effect is sheer expression of ignorance. Okay? Therefore, we stopped at the 20th Karika, I think, last class. if you really, let us see the 19th Karika onwards. Ashaktiraparignanam Ashaktiraparignanam Kramakopodhava punaha Kramakopodhava punaha Evam hi sarvatha buddhaihi Evam hi sarvatha buddhaihi Ajatif paridipita Ajatif paridipita. So here Gaudapada Acharya says, when we probe, when we explore seriously this law, theory of karma, the law of karma, and we cannot really establish karma as the cause of the creation. We can't establish karma, we can't say what is the cause of the karma, nor can we say karma is the cause. Therefore, that incapability is called ashakti here. The incapability in establishing which came first, karma or body, is due to what now? Limitation in their knowledge, due to their vagueness, aparijnanam. There is no clarity at all. There is no knowledge, aparijnanam, limitation in their knowledge, or there is still vagueness about vagueness. There is no clarity. We cannot clearly say this is what the first. Therefore, kramakopaha, therefore there is kramakopaha, I already said, there is confusion. Kopaha, the word kopaha means confusion in terms of the order of what is the cause, what is the effect, what came first, what came next. There's still the confusion. Nothing has been established. In this manner, all these, so a group of this whole group of philosophers also, by all their efforts, what they contribute is ultimately they contribute for the establishment of the ajativadaha, not the non-creation alone. They bring this ajativadaha to much brighter light, isn't it? By all their efforts. Not purposely they do not do it, inadvertently they contribute for the they indirectly support the ajativadaha. There is no creation. Okay. So let us see 20th Karika now. It's the actual class for us now. Bijankurakhyo drishtantah Bijankurakhyo drishtantah Sada sadhya samohi saha Sada sadhya samohi saha Nahi sadhya samohetu Nahi sadhya samohetu Siddho sadhyasya yujyate Siddho sadhyasya yujyate. These so-called Dvaita philosophers, the karma karya vadinaha, who hold on to the theory of karma as the basis for their theory of creation, saying there is creation which is real and which is for which the cause is karma. Such people, even after pointing out the defects, presenting all the 6 options also, still they can think of giving such examples, giving some examples such as seed and the plant. Ankuraha literally means a sprout. So you can always say seed as the cause of the plant. Seed is the cause of the sprout. The sprout cannot be there if there was no seed. The seed is the cause for the sprout to come into existence. This is the example. Such very beautiful, such examples, no, akya drishtantaha means example, always they try to give. They may bring such example. And here Gaudapada Acharya says, and they say what now? Sadhya samaha. Sadhyam means what is to be arrived at is sadhyam. And here what is to be arrived at is the original, actually what we already have this. Whether karma came first, karma is the cause of the body, or the body is the cause of the karma, accumulation of punya papam. What is the cause? What is the effect? What came first? Isn't it? That is the, we have not yet sorted out that. What is yet to be sorted out, isn't it? Which means we have not yet found the correct answer. Clearly, no, body came first or karma came first. Karma always is the cause of body. That we have not yet arrived at. We have not yet established. Therefore, that original actual problem of not being able to establish whether the karma or the body came first, that is actual problem, is here implied by the word sadhyam. Look at this. The word sadhyam, Gaudapada Acharya's language is very different. Sadhyam means something to be accomplished. But in this context, the word sadhyam is equal to the actual problem of not being able to establish the karma as the cause of the body, or the body as the cause of the punya papam. The actual problem, isn't it? Therefore, that is not yet sorted out. And he says samaha. And this seed plant example is also what now? If at all he gives another example, already unproved problem is there. Already unsolved problem, unresolved issue is there. What is unresolved issue? We have not resolved the issue, which is the cause we are not established, unestablished, unproved, unresolved issue is still there. And the similar to that is what? Sadhya samaha. This example of seed plant example also similar to the already existing actual problem. Why? Here also, example also you give. We have not understood that. That is unresolved, unsettled problem. And you give an example which is equally non-resolvable. Why? You can never prove seed is the beginningless cause of the plant, nor can you say plant is the beginningless cause of the seed. Which came first you can never say. Sadhya samaha. It is like, when you are given a word. Suppose if you are asked to, suppose you listen to some lecture, or you are reading a book and you come across one new term in the textbook, and immediately you want to know the meaning of that word, even though you vaguely make out the meaning of the word in the context where you are reading it. But you want to know exactly what is the root, what exactly it means. So you want to know the meaning of that word. You go to the dictionary and search for the meaning of the word, particular word. And there you get a meaning of that word which also you don't understand. The dictionary gives you the meaning of the word, okay? The dictionary meaning also you do not understand. The actual word also you do not understand. and somebody suggests go to Roget's Thesaurus because it gives you lots of synonyms, at least you can find out. And you go there, my God, all the words give different shades of words, very close meanings, and still you find what? You don't understand. No word becomes very clear for you. And it happens sometimes, isn't it? Then you have to really understand differently. Like that here, already ununderstood. Karma came first. Karma is the cause of the body, or body is the cause of the karma. We have not yet understood. And for which he gives another example. What example? Seed plant example, which is similar, sadhya samaha, similar to the already existing actual problem. Even here we cannot arrive at which came first. Seed came first or the plant came first. Who gives this example? All the Dvaita philosopher will give the example of seed plant example. Like how just as seed is the cause of the plant, and the plant cannot originate without the seed, so also without the karma, the body cannot come into existence. For the birth of the body, there must be the karma. Still he can say, already what is unresolved, isn't it? The example he gives also is what? Equally confusing example. Why? Because here also we cannot prove whether the seed came first or the plant came first. Non-establishable. Is it clear? That's what he says. Sadhya samaha. Therefore, what now? Read the next line of this 20th verse, Karika. Nahi sadhya samaha hetuhu. The word hetuhu here means the reason, the example. Therefore, this example of seed plant example, as something similar to the karma body, isn't it? Actually, an example is not appropriate. Sadhyasya siddhau na yujyate. In establishing the karma as the cause of the birth, okay, in that it doesn't befit. It means what? It is not appropriate. Inappropriate example for the unresolved problem, unanswered doubt. Is it clear? Okay. Therefore, what now? Now, this is the final. Now we will see that now. Purva para parejnanam. Ajate paridipakam. Jayamanadhivai dharmat. Katham purvam na grishyate. So here he says purva apara aparijnanam. Take the quarter of the Karika, first half of the first line. Purva apara aparijnanam. So incomplete knowledge or vagueness in terms of what is the cause and what is the effect. Purvam, what precedes is called Purvam. What follows is Aparam. Purva apara vishaye aparijnanam. We are not really, we're still very, very vague. Really, if we explore anything, there is what now? Aparijnanam. Our knowledge is incomplete. There is vagueness. There is ignorance. Still ignorance. We are incapable of establishing this is what is the cause. This is what is the effect. Definitely this was there before. We are not able to establish. Therefore, Purva apara aparijnanam, this what it contributes for what now? contributes for the establishment of Ajativadaha. So he says Ajatehe Paridipakam. In fact, it brings the Ajativada to much brighter light. The more you analyze, the more you explore, the more you probe, the more you understand your incapacity, your incapability to establish the cause. And what comes first? Therefore, the more you understand incapability to establish what comes first, what is the cause, the more you have to, the more you bring the Ajativada being right, isn't it, to light. Non-creation. Creation being not there becomes clearer and clearer for you. Ajatehe Paridipakam. So, எது காரணம், எது காரியம், எது முன்பு தோன்றியது, எது பிறகு வந்தது என்பது நிரூபிக்க முடியாத காரணத்தினாலே அஜாதிவாதமானது மிகவும் தெளிவாகிறது. Isn't it? Therefore, now he says, Jayamanadhi Vaidharmat Katham Puram na Grihyate. And this is again another question. And he is asking this person, all these philosophers together, he is addressing not addressing. If you really say there is creation, if you say there is creation, the universe has originated from the cause, given cause. If you say there is a creation, then why are you not able to establish the cause? Why are you not able to? How come that you are not able to establish this is the cause from which the universe has originated? Katham, he says, na grihyate, puram na grihyate. How come that you are not able to establish the cause? If you are talking about the creation of the universe, origination of the universe, definitely then you must prove the cause. You are not able to establish the cause at all. Then you say universe is an effect. That is origination. Being incapable of establishing the cause, discussing the cause-effect system, discussion on any cause-effect, cause and effect is really sheer ignorance. The theory of causation itself is an expression of ignorance. There is no karanam, there is no karyam. There is only Karya Karana Vilakshanam Brahma, which is you. You are that Brahman. That's what he says. Jayamanadi Vaidharmat Katham Puram na Grihyate. If you say this creation, this universe is creation, then from that, from which the universe has come into existence, Katham Puram na Grihyate, then why are you not able to exactly establish this is the cause from which alone universe has come into existence? Katham Puram na Grihyate, you are not able to establish the cause. Understand? Okay. Therefore, there is no creation. Okay. Now, he Okay, so having refuted the Dvaita philosophers in this context, and he also wants to make it very clear. See, leave alone this whole cosmos now. Leave alone the entire universe. He is telling us now, let us take any given object in this, any one given object in this universe here, this world here. What we experience? Take this computer, or take this small chair or table, tea table, or take this small mic. Take your own watch. Take any one given thing here. Just ask this question. Where has it come from? What is it made of? Take any product here, the so-called product, the so-called effect. You cannot establish the cause. Again, he gives 6 options. 6 plus 6, now it's going to be 12. Then again he will build 3 more. So 15 we will find out, okay? Beautiful. Okay, let us take this now, this, because we are all sitting in wooden chairs. So let's take this wooden chair. This wooden chair cannot come into existence from itself. A chair cannot come into existence from the very chair. Milk cannot originate from the very milk. I am the cause of myself. I come into existence from myself. Like that, no? Chain cannot come into existence from the very chain. Okay, can we say this chair has come into existence from something other than the chair, the non-chair? A given object cannot originate from itself. தன்னிலிருந்தே தான் தோன்றியிருக்க முடியாது. It cannot originate from something else also. A chair cannot originate from the very chair, nor can the chair originate from non-chair, something else, anything else other than the chair. Nor can the chair originate from the combination, the mixture of both chair and the non-chair. Three options. You cannot say milk originated from milk. Definitely not. Milk cannot originate from something else. Okay, water. Or milk cannot originate from the mixture of milk and water. Isn't it? Got the point? And here Shankar Bhagavad-pada in his example he uses the word pot. So let us take pot example now. Has the pot come into existence, has originated from the very pot? You will say what? No. Has the pot originated from anything else other than the pot, a non-pot? No. So has the pot originated from the mixture, the combination of both pot and the non-pot? Definitely not. பானை தன்னிலிருந்து தான், பானை பானையிலிருந்தே வந்ததா, பானை பானை அல்லாத வேரிலிருந்து வந்ததா, பானையிலும் மற்றொன்றும் சேர்ந்து அதிலிருந்து வந்ததா? I'm not saying anything new, David, don't worry. I'm repeating the same. No. No. So you cannot, what is the cause of the pot now? What is the cause of the pot? Then one intelligent person wants to say something. Why can't I say pot is clay product? Clay is the cause and pot is the effect. Between the pot and the clay there is cause-effect relationship. Karana-karya sambandha. Pot has originated from the clay. Clay is cause, pot is the effect. Why can't we say that sataha? Something was there before, the cause was there, clay was there, and from the clay the pot has originated. There again, and he is asking, now Gaudapada Acharya is asking that person, if you say between clay and pot, pot has not come into existence from the pot, I understand. Pot has not come into existence from the non-pot, I understand. Definitely pot is not the product of pot and non-pot mixture also. But can we say pot has come originated from the clay? No. No, why? We can't say between pot and clay there is karana-karya sambandha. Sambandha means relationship. Relationship must be always between two different parallel realities. Isn't it? I can touch Nina, Nina can touch me because we are different. When she feels hungry, she will go and eat. Isn't it? But two different parallel realities must be there. Or two different things must be there for the relationship to be there. Are the clay and pot, are they two different things? No. Why? Because remove the clay from the pot and is there a substance for the substantive pot? Either a substance called pot, there is a substance called clay. You remove the clay, a substance of the substantive clay, and the pot stands non-substantially, pot disappears. Understand? Therefore, pot is a new word, new name of the same substance. Pot is only vacha rambhanam namadheyam vikaraha. Understand? Word pot is another new word for the same substance, clay. Clay is word 1, pot is another word 2. All the words are what? Different names of the only substance. Understand now? You got the meaning? Therefore, you cannot say clay is the cause, pot is the effect. Between clay and pot, there is karana-karya sambandha, cause-effect relationship is there. You cannot say there is no cause, there is no effect, there is only clay. Clay is the only substance. There is no substance called pot. Pot is a non-substantial word, term. If you search for the substance, the pot also will end up where? Has been resolved only in clay. Therefore, you cannot say pot is has come from clay. Sataha. Okay. Now you cannot say what now? The clay pot has originated out of nothing. What is the cause? Okay, if you say, even if you accept, then what is the cause? You can establish the cause. Therefore, a pot has, we can't say clay is the cause of the pot. Pot has originated from the clay, you cannot say. Nor can you say pot has originated from nothing. When if you talk about the origination, creation, you have to prove the cause. But you cannot prove the cause. Therefore, you cannot say already existing, what existed before has originated, or the existent thing has originated, the non-existent thing has originated, or the mixture of existent and non-existent has originated. Can you say? The universe is not the origination of the existent and non-existent mixture. The universe is not the origination of the non-existent. The universe are the origination of the existent also. Even if you take a small part, you cannot establish. Leave alone the universe. Can you establish? You really analyze clearly. You cannot say where has the pot come from. Where has the pot originated from? You can say clay is a relative cause, you can say. Relative. Not only that, you can say, suppose if we talk about any sambandha anywhere, gold chain relationship, wood furniture relationship, seed plant relationship, wherever you go, any example you give, you cannot establish the cause. Really speaking, there is no cause. If any number of words you say, they are all what now? Different words. That is why, please understand, in Vedanta Shastram, what is, there is only substance. We don't say one substance. What is, there is only substance. All the forms are different appearances. Therefore, different words. That's why Bhagavan is said to be Anantanama. Every name is what? Every word is a different name for the same substance. Pot is this different word for the same clay. Lid is a different name for the same clay. Isn't it? Chain, bangle, bracelet, hip chain, ring. What different names for the same substance. They may serve different purpose, they may look different, but the same substance is given different names. Therefore, the Bhagavan is called Anantanama. That is why we do Sahasra Nama Archana. Isn't that beautiful to know? Therefore, let us read the next verse now. Second Karika. Swato va parato vapi na kinchid vastu jayate sadasat सदसद्वापि न किञ्चिद्वस्तु जायते. So swataha kinchid vastu na jayate. No, not even a small thing, not any object, no object in this universe originates, comes into existence out of itself, from itself. Swataha. எந்த ஒரு பொருளும் தன்னிலிருந்தே தோன்றுவது இல்லை. ஓகே. किंचित न किंचित वस्तु परतः जायते. No object originates from some other object, something else other than itself. Is it clear? Are you following? Now we have to include ubhayataha. Definitely swataha, parataha, ubhayataha. So no object here originates from the combination, the mixture of both itself and the something else. Then sad, asat, sadasad. That three words, read very carefully. Sad, asat, sadasad. So no. See, already, Sat means already existent. Already existent thing na jayate, does not originate. Asat, already non-existent thing cannot originate. The mixture of already existent and non-existent also cannot originate. Therefore, na kinchid vastu jayate. Therefore, what now? There is no object which originates. Nothing is born here. Nothing is created here. Nothing is created means there is no creation at all. Okay? A small break now. Welcome. Is it complete?